1 year since the Volcanic eruption, and as you heard in the previous interview with Richard Wagstaff, WorkSafe has announced it's filed charges against 13 parties in relation to the tragedy. Richard Wagstaff says we can do better. We're talking specifically about the tragedy now. What do survivors make of the charges? Michael Winkleman is the lawyer representing American couple Matt and Lauren Ure, who were severely injured in the eruption. He joins us now from Colorado. Good morning, Michael. We're delighted to have you with us. Thanks for being with us.
Nice to see you again, John.
Yeah, it's nice to see you. Look, I'm sorry, we had trouble establishing a link with you, so we've kind of got very little time, but I want to get your response to WorkSafe laying these charges.
The response is very positive from my clients. Matt and Lauren are thrilled that it seems that the authorities are taking steps in the right directions to make sure there is accountability for this incident. So I think for them, when they first heard about it, they were elated. I think, they're still on a very long journey towards recovery for them. But as I've said, I think this is a great first step in the right direction towards holding Royal Caribbean and any other related entities accountable for this preventable tragedy.
How were Matt and Lauren notified? Were they told in advance of the media being told yesterday?
We had been hearing about that this was coming for weeks. I think the timing of it wasn't certain. So this is something we were prepared and ready to receive. It was actually given to us through a different media source. They then sent it to me, but then we were all equally elated yesterday, which for us was Sunday, to get the news. So certainly very positive feedback so far from my clients.
So Michael, clearly you, Matt and Lauren have profound issues around the advisory they were, or in fact weren't given, that White Island had gone to level 2, and your case is that they were terribly exposed to risk and that they wouldn't have gone had they been told. But I just want to clarify, in terms of your dealings with the New Zealand authorities post the eruption, have they been looking after you, Matt and Lauren? Have you been hearing from them as and when you need to?
Yeah, I would say yes and no. There hasn't been a significant amount of involvement, but I don't certainly blame the New Zealand authorities in any way, because really the focal point of our case is Royal Caribbean, because the litigation has been filed in Miami and has to be filed in Miami, in the United States. So our focus is more on them than as it relates to anything in New Zealand. So, but to specifically answer your question, we have been involved. Really, to hear Matt and Lauren talk about it, they only say positive things about every single Kiwi that dealt with them. So I think there's part of them that wants to come back and maybe do a reboot of their honeymoon that went so wrong the first time. So hopefully you'll be on the short list of people to receive them if and when they ever come back.
Yeah, I was speaking to them over the weekend, and they are beautiful, generous people who speak with love and gratitude about New Zealand. It's extraordinary in the circumstances. Will WorkSafe's case against particularly the organisations, so there are 10 organisations that WorkSafe is prosecuting, will WorkSafe's case inform your case against Royal Caribbean or Caribbean?
Absolutely, 100%. It's very confusing, all the different entities that are involved. We haven't gotten knee deep into what we would call discovery, where we would go into each of them and things of that nature, but everything as it relates to what the New Zealand authorities are doing is absolutely helpful for the case against Royal Caribbean. Having said that, at the end of the day, there's a very well-established duty on the part of Royal Caribbean to warn its passengers of dangers that either they knew about or they should have known about. I think it's very clear that this was a known danger, this heightened level of volcanic activity, and Royal Caribbean basically did nothing about it. And you have to remember, for their passengers who are on the ship, when Royal Caribbean is selling them a product, I think it's reasonable for the passengers to think that it's a safe product. Having said that, when in the weeks leading up to this, there's all these really alarming warnings talking about increased volcanic activity, more like this period of time when there were all these eruptions. Frankly, it's pretty shocking that Royal Caribbean didn't even lift a finger to give anyone any kind of warning.
And I guess that's a lawyer talking to his case. But your case is substantively that had Matt and Lauren known that Whakaari White Island had gone to level 2 and that the next level, level 3, was eruption, they wouldn't have gone onto the island. Full stop.
Full stop. 100%. Matt is more of the science geek. Lauren was very scared and just in general less risk averse. She said, had they known anything, they never would have gone. But even there was a conversation between the two of them where Lauren says, "Oh, do you think this is safe?" And Matt says, "Of course. Why would Royal Caribbean sell to us a product or an excursion that wasn't safe?"